What's going on, bottom line viewers, and welcome into our last video of the series of X factors for every division in the NFL. This is the video for the NFC West. So if you guys haven't checked out the other videos, go check out the playlist, look at the AFC East, AFC North, and so on. We gave each individual X factor, the player that we think will change the landscape of the division, has the biggest chance of doing so, also the biggest impact inside that division. So go check out those other videos. But we're here to talk about the NFC West, the 49ers, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals. Who is an X factor on these teams? This is a division that I think is going through a little bit of a change. In the past, you know, it's all about the Seahawks and to some degree the Cardinals as well. So now we're sort of switching to it's the McVay and Shanahan era in the NFC West. And I think these are two teams that are getting a lot of hype, 49ers and the Rams, two teams in the NFC West. But the Seahawks and Cardinals are kind of being left behind now as the old guard that are passing the baton to the new guard. Dilly Vanilli, who do you think is the X factor in the NFC West? I feel like there are some very obvious ones, and then there's maybe some under-the-radar ones as well.
There's quite a bit of interesting picks here. I'm going to go for more of a slam dunk because I'm just like that. Thanks. But I think this
another
division,
quarterback for Dylan, I think.
Oh, he did. I guess the comments couldn't figure that out. Hey, this is the only no, this isn't. I was thinking this is the only person in the entire NFC that I had for a QB, but it's not. I also put the NFC North. Regardless. Only 2 out of 4. I think that's good. In terms of this division, like you said, I think it's changing the guard. I think the Seahawks are going to be dramatically worse than they were in the last couple of seasons. I think they're going to regress a lot. The Cardinals, they surprisingly went 8-8. I think that gets taken away from a lot of people, but they won the last couple of games that they had. So yeah, the Seahawks, they are what they are. The Cardinals did a lot better than I think they were expecting to. I put them at 6-10, which isn't as bad as 4-12, to say the least. But they got more wins than I expected them to. And then you got the two teams that are taking over this division right now, the 49ers and the Rams. Rams, there's Super Bowl hype around them, right? You could say they're overrated in terms of what the hype is getting them and how much production they've gotten so far, but the team looks very good. But I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to go with the slam dunk. I'm going with Jimmy G. The reason I got Jimmy G here is, well, it's pretty simple. Look at the 49ers team before Garoppolo started, before he got traded, all the stuff that was going on with them. They were a team that at one point I believe was 0-9 and then beat a really bad Giants team to get their first win of the season. So they weren't doing very good overall in the season. But in the last 5 games, they said, screw it. Kyle Shanahan, you know, let's throw out Jimmy G. He's our boy, okay? And he decided to go 5-0, beating a playoff team like the Jags in one of those weeks. They were doing pretty good, all things considered. Jimmy G is going to be the quarterback for the future. They signed him to a mega contract, which people will be like, well, how could he be an X factor if he just got all that money? Well, he has to deserve that money. He's gotten the money. Now he's got to go put it out on the field with some pretty good talent. The receiver talent last year was non-existent. They're getting it better this time around this year. I think this team has a lot of potential. They might, I'm thinking in my head, they could make the playoffs. I said next season would be the year they would do so, but they could be overachievers and get it done one season before. So a guy like Jimmy G got this big-time contract for the 49ers, wants to take this team in a whole new direction with another team that's really going to be competitive all the way around in the Rams. You got to have something to back it up. And a guy that just got this big contract has got to prove himself this year. I think Jimmy G is the X factor for the NFC West.
Okay, for me, of course, my first instinct was Jimmy G, but I gave Dylan the first chance to pick every division. So when I saw Jimmy G, I was like, of course he picked Jimmy G because he didn't let me do it. But then you look at the other teams in the division. I feel like the Seahawks, you could say Russell Wilson, if he could carry the Seahawks and be that guy to do so, you know, he is capable of doing so. Then the Seahawks could still be a quality team. Maybe it's the Seahawks defense. You know what's kind of weird about the Seahawks is it might not even be a player or a coach. It might be like their identity. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but like maybe it's the Seahawks mental.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's their run game. The Cardinals, their quarterback position, Sam Bradford, Josh Rosen, it could be one of those guys. It obviously could be David Johnson back from injury if he could take over this division himself. Maybe the Cardinals defense. So there's those guys throwing it out there. And then there was my second X factor, which would like right under my first X factor, which would be on the 49ers, not offense, but the 49ers defense, in particular one player, and that is Richard Sherman of the 49ers. If Richard Sherman is Richard Sherman, then I think the 49ers are making the playoffs. Is that like too much?
No, that's a fair.
If Richard Sherman is Richard Sherman, then he completely changes the landscape of an entire defense. Mm-hmm. And then therefore completely changes the team, and therefore completely changes the division. So it has an effect there. So Richard Sherman would be my second guy, but my number one guy is on the Rams, and the Rams have got a lot of hype, deservedly so. They have a very talented team, but the guy that I feel like it's all falling onto is not Sean McVay, it is Jared Goff. And I've said this for quite some time, ever since they've acquired all their talent. Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, Ndamukong Suh, Brandon Cooks, the list goes on. I think it's Jared Goff because I'm still not a believer in Jared Goff being an elite quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think that like last year, I think a lot of it was Sean McVay and what he can do as an offensive mind and how he can allow, basically scheme for defenses and allow Jared Goff to be a successful player. Now, if Jared Goff can go from being what I would consider a system type of player at this point in his career to being more of a player that can do more on his own, make some more plays individually, make some more physically talented plays in being that type of player, then the Rams go from what I would consider a contender to a team that would be a favorite. I feel like Jared Goff he's going to get probably the Rams. He'll be good enough to get the Rams to the playoffs, in my opinion. But it's just a matter of what he can do to take the Rams to the next level past the playoffs and just an entry into the conversation. So Jared Goff, while I feel like a good player, he might need to be great for them to get to that next level. And that's why he's my X factor. I actually believe more in Jimmy G's talent at this point, even with less games played, than Jared Goff. I feel like Jimmy is more of a purely talented player than Jared Goff. Well, I feel like there's more questions surrounding Jared Goff. That's why he is my X factor. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the Rams can do because I think they're going to be a very talented team. And, of course, people have been talking about maybe they could fall under the pressure, fall under all the characters on their team. But I think it's more just going to be on their quarterback. So that's why Jared Goff's my guy and Jimmy G is your guy. The quarterbacks are important in this division and the NFL.
I mean, you look at that whole division, you got three guys. You include Russell Wilson in there. That's a top 5 QB. And then whether or not the quarterback situation in Arizona is going to be a thing. So this division is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to see how Kevo reacts to this season too.
Yes, me too. Maybe I'm looking forward to what team he thinks is going to win 4 games that ends up winning 0, and what team he picks to win 4 games that ends up winning like 10. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video from Mitch and Dilly of the Bottom Line View. If you guys did, hit the like button, subscribe for more X Factor videos. If you guys haven't already, this is the last of the series, so go check out the playlist, which will be up there on the channel. Go check out the rest of the divisions. Who did we think is the X Factor for every division? We also dive into each individual team somewhat and give you kind of individual team picks as well. So go check that out from Mitch and Dylan once again. Hope you enjoyed and peace out.
Peace.